Hey my friend, this is Joe Bakmotsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy and the author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. And listen, isn't it a crazy world that we live in right now? There is so much worry, so much uncertainty, so it's really no wonder that, you and me struggle in our daily life. And when we talk about getting on top of challenges that happen to you in your daily life, and then we gotta talk about with what I think is the single worst feeling we experience in our lives. Because it's just so damaging. It pulls you down. It beats you down to the ground. And it really puts you in a place where you're unable to move. You're unable to do anything productive. And you end up feeling horrible. And this is the feeling of self-pity, of feeling sorry for yourself. I don't know about you, but in my past, I've been an expert on it because I've just done it so many times. I felt awful about all the things that were happening to me. I guess I kind of felt this sense of injustice that was happening to me because I thought, well, listen, I've been a good person. I don't deserve to be going through, through the struggles and all the trials and tribulations I might be going through right now. And I think this is the problem in our lives, because we're tied into this. I've been made to believe, I guess, in this existential justice, right? That there is something happening where if you do one thing and then, some good things might happen to you, and it's simply not true. Right? We've all experienced it in our lives. You've been a good person. You've been doing good things to help other people, to make this world a better place in whatever way that is for you. And yet we know that it doesn't always translate into good things happening. So the less time we try to make sense of things in the context of comparing ourselves to others, the more we get out of ourselves to build up resilience, the more we get a sense of self-esteem and belief and confidence that we are worthy of being happy, that we are worthy of having the life that we truly deserve. Because this is at the root of feeling sorry for ourselves. This is the one thing that is really at the core of self-pity, is comparing ourselves to other people. Comparing yourself to the person based on some kind of arbitrary quality that we pick out. Maybe on how much money someone has, or how happy they are in their relationship, or how their kids are doing, right? It's really weird. Isn't it weird how we pick out sometimes these people based on one thing or two things, and it's completely taken out of context, and we compare ourselves to them, and it makes you feel so bad inside. It just makes you feel so much worse, and we do this to ourselves because we forget that we only see some kind of a superficial level of success. We don't see all the hard work that went into it. We don't see all the other aspects of this person's life. We don't really see what's happening underneath their hood, like underneath the hood in their family, in their personal life. We don't really know. And yet we pick out those things and compare what you have, something that you have or something that you'd love to have. We compare it with someone else. And I think this is what we need to do in order to stop self-pity in its tracks. We gotta break the cycle. We gotta break the cycle of comparing ourselves to others. We gotta really move towards accepting the reality the way that it is, and not the way we would like it to be, or not the way we think it should be, right? Because I know in my experience, I've done this so many times. Whether I've been, that was when my ex-girlfriend left me for another man, or whether this is when I got cancer, or whether this is when I realized that I'm living with lifelong anxiety and panic attacks, which were making my life so difficult. I was thinking, well, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? And I realized that at some point, I realized, you know what? This is my life. I have to take, responsibility for it. I have to, and first and foremost, I got to learn to live with it. I got to learn to accept it the way it is, because that's who I am and that's how I'm living. And that's something that we can start to do within ourselves by shifting the internal conversation that you might have with yourself from kind of looking for explanations, from looking to compare yourself to somebody else in some level, even though that's what we really want to do on some deep level. Instead, turn that around to observing the world, to observing and finding yourself as one integral part of it, but observing of it just as you would in nature. Just as you would if you were in the mountains, just as you would if you were in the forest, just as you would if you were out at the beach, and you're just observing the world the way that it is. I tell you what, if you dedicate some of your time to looking at the world and going out of the nature and be by yourself in your own space and just looking at the world, and just trying to accept your place in it and look at the world and just enjoy it and just have fun. This has shifted my life in such a huge way. I started going on daily walks. I started going to this park. There was hardly anyone around, and this was after my big breakup, a whole bunch of years ago. I started to learn how to get comfortable with myself by being on my own, by being out in nature. But instead of trying to find all the things that were wrong in my life, instead of trying to find all the right things that happened in other people's lives, I just started to kind of look around, look at trees, look at nature, look at the world around me, look at other people, without trying to kind of come up with any conclusions or trying to find something out. I just wanted to be in that place and just look out at the world. And it's hard. It's hard to be on your own out somewhere in the world, when what you really want to do is be with other people or be doing whatever it is that makes you comfortable, whether it's in your home or in your work. But if you make time for that, if you shift your way of looking at life from finding faults within yourself, from being so harsh on yourself, from being so demanding on yourself, from judging yourself so harshly, from saying, I don't have this, I wish I would have had this sooner. Well, I mean, why is this happening to me? Instead of finding explanations, instead of comparing yourself to where some people are or where you'd like to be, is just observing the world that it is. I promise you, this will help you to be more comfortable and more accepting of the world and of your life the way that it is right now. And that will help you to find the path forward. Because we want to look to the present in our lives instead of looking over your shoulder. And I think sometimes another way to start it is to looking at it at the start of the day, is building it throughout your day and beginning your day with a reflection of the way that your life is right now and the challenges and the setbacks that you might be experiencing right now. So this is the second thing I would do, and this is what I'm doing in my life, is I'm in my journaling experience that I do every single morning with my coffee. I always start with a prompt that says, if there is one challenge that I'm willing to face today, it is, and then I just write whatever that might be. And it might be just, making my way to work, or it might be, making, a difficult a phone call that I don't want to make, or whether that's, writing a chapter of my book is just difficult because I'm stuck. Right? Whatever it is, I just pick out one thing that one challenge that I'm gonna face today. It's not one problem that I'm gonna solve, but one challenge that I'm prepared to face in today. That I'm prepared to just face it. Not complete it, not overcome it, but just to face the challenge. And that is again something that can help us to find more acceptance within where we are right now in our own experience, instead of looking at where we'd like to be, or looking at life the way that you would want it to be. And these are the two things that I think can really help you if you're in a place of struggle, or if you're coming out of a challenging time, to stop finding faults within yourself, or trying to find explanation as to why life isn't there, because it is. Right? There's no getting around it. Life is unfair. We have to find our own place in it, and to break ourselves away from feeling sorry from ourselves, from feeling like we're not enough, and to accept ourselves the way you are. My friend, accept yourself the way that you are. And there's two ways that we've been talking about how to do that. First of all, maybe that's something that you can do in the morning, is find a way to describe the challenge that you want to face today. Not solve a problem, not necessarily overcome an obstacle, because it's maybe too hard, but just learn to live with something, and use the prompt that says, if there's one challenge that I'm willing to face today, it would be, and then you'll come up with something that is going to be difficult for you today. That's real. That's one way of accepting your reality the way that it is. And the second one is going out and being part of the world, from the place where you're observing, instead of beating yourself up, instead of judging yourself too harshly. Going out to a park that you love, going out to the beach, going out to like a lookout, going out to the mountain, going out and being somewhere where there's room, where there's some kind of nature, where you feel a part of something bigger, you feel a part of something whole. And when that happens, it makes you feel more complete and more accepting of who you are. Because listen, isn't it enough? Everything you have been through has taught you that no matter what happens, you are still here. You are still here after everything that happened. And you've, in your life, I don't know everything that you've been through, but you've been through a lot in your own way. And we all have, especially now in this crazy, challenging time. So I gotta tell you right now that after everything that you have been through, you are enough. And accepting yourself the way that you are, and making it a daily practice, because it's not a one-time thing, right? It's a practice. We learn to accept ourselves. We learn to accept our place in the world. We learn to accept our ambitions. We learn to accept that things might get better. We learn to accept that we have goals and we have to move towards them, even if it takes time, even if it's not easy. We have to learn to accept our place in the world. So please do that for yourself, because you are enough. After everything that you have been through, you are enough.